Welcome back, everyone. Please welcome our next presenter. We have Clean Vision Corporation. It trades on the OTC Pink sheets under the symbol CLNV and acquires and operates a portfolio of synergistic companies in the sustainable, clean technology and green energy sectors. Please welcome its CEO, Dan Bates. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Anna. It's a pleasure to be here. And I want to thank Charles and Ryan for the opportunity and the whole team at the Emerging Growth Conference. It's a pleasure.
All right, the floor is yours.
Great. Well, let's start off with a video. Shall we start off with the video, Ryan? There we go.
Welcome to Clean Vision Corporation. Our mission is to address the world's most pressing environmental problems by seeking out and acquiring technology and service companies that have developed unique and proprietary solutions. We believe that addressing these problems is not only good for our planet, but offers significant value creation opportunities for our investors who make a long-term impact through sustainable ventures with solid fundamentals. CVC has focused its efforts on clean energy technologies, sustainable packaging, water purification, and other clean tech solutions that can be broadly deployed, maximizing and revenue generation. And we have already begun our mission. Clean Seas Incorporated is our first acquisition and is addressing the global waste plastic crisis, both on land and in our oceans. Using cutting-edge technologies, Clean Seas is able to turn waste plastic into clean-burning fuels and electricity for our customers. Our second acquisition, 100 Bio, has developed the world's first compostable styrofoam, which is being used in the food service industry, as well as in general packaging applications. Both of these companies will significantly reduce the amount of waste plastic in our environment. The team at Clean Vision Corporation has spent decades in the international renewable energy sector and is now bringing this vast experience to its portfolio of companies, accelerating their time to market through our global relationships. Clean Vision Corporation is a public company trading on the OTC and is poised to become a leader in the clean tech and sustainable industries. For more information, please visit cleanvisioncorp.com. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you all for listening into this presentation on the Clean Vision Corporation. And I'm happy to take any questions at the end. Very briefly, I'd like to explain what Clean Vision does and how we expect to make an impact in the clean tech and clean energy markets. Clean Vision is set up to identify and acquire very interesting and synergistic companies in the clean tech, clean energy space. We have a couple of acquisitions already that we've been looking into that we have now 100% control of a company called Clean Seas, which does a very interesting plastic recycling to energy and clean fuels product, as well as 100 Bio, which creates a plant-based styrofoam replacement. Now, I'll get into more detail on each of those. What we believe is, whether you believe in climate change or not, the fact that the world is moving to a cleaner economy is going to be an opportunity for investors. And we intend to leverage our expertise in that market to provide value to the companies that we're acquiring, as well as value to our shareholders. So let me start off by saying we are driven by the 3 Ps, the people, planet, and profit scenario. The companies that we're looking at right now are in clean tech. We have some clean energy companies that we've identified that are on the horizon, and we're looking forward to leveraging our experience, which is greater than a decade in the clean energy space. I have been involved in clean tech since 2008, and so has the rest of the team in various capacities of sales, engineering, and technology. And what we are now doing is are leveraging that experience across the developing world as well as the developed economies of the world, bringing these solutions to bear. I'm going to jump through these slides real quick. I'm sure you've all seen a lot of presentations, and I'm not going to read them. I'd like to show you a little bit about what we're doing with 100 Bio quickly. Let me just jump to that, and then I'm going to come back to Clean Seas. So 100 Bio is a very interesting company. What they have created is a technology that has basically become a replacement for styrofoam. Styrofoam is all over the world. We know that it just sits in a landfill. It doesn't biodegrade. It doesn't decompose. It sits there for hundreds of years. Well, we now have the opportunity to change all those coffee cups, all those clamshells that your Big Macs come in, or those plates that the food is served on, from a fossil fuel-based product to a plant-based, compostable, and biodegradable product that now has the clean sense about it. And we're finding that manufacturers and companies are looking to gravitate to cleaner packaging solutions. And 100 Bio has come up with this PLA-based, plant-based styrofoam replacement, which has all the attributes of styrofoam. It keeps food warm if needed. Coffee cups has a very solid heat barrier, as well as keeps things cold if needed. So it acts and performs identically to a styrofoam product without the fossil fuel component. Here's a couple of examples of what the products look like. You can see here there's trays, cafeteria trays. So think about schools, how those might work, right? Oops, let me just close this. Here's some other examples of bowls, trays, plates, you name it, whatever you can think of that is currently being used as a styrofoam product can easily be replaced with this plant-based 100 Bio solution. We are a licensing company right now, as designed, so the company is going out to manufacturers and licensing its technology. We recently announced that there has been some iterations to the technology which allow for a manufacturer to simply take the compound produced by 100 Bio, and without any change to their infrastructure, whether that's thermoforming or injection molding, they can now simply use the 100 Bio product to create those products that they're currently selling to their distributors. My Marco Rubio moment, excuse me. All right, so let me go back to Clean Seas now and show you what we're doing with that company. Clean Seas is a very interesting technology that we're finding is gaining traction all over the world. Countries, municipalities, corporations, they're all faced with a plastic problem. And I'm sure most of you have seen in the news, in the headlines, the proliferation of plastic around the world and what that's doing to our oceans. So Clean Seas came up with the concept of we are going to be a solutions provider to help solve the problem of this plastic waste crisis. And we firmly believe that in order to clean up the oceans, to save the oceans from this calamity that's happening on a daily basis, we must stop the flow of plastic that is produced on land, flowing through basically 10 major rivers of the world into the ocean. Without stemming the flow of the plastic on land, we will never be able to clean up the ocean. And one crazy fact that has come about is they expect that there will be more plastic in the ocean by 2050 than there are fish. That's a sad thought. And we aim to help solve that problem. There was 8.3 billion tons of plastic waste in the world that's been produced historically since plastic was first invented in the 60s, and only about 9% of that has been recycled. That's actually enough refined fuel from the conversion of that plastic to power the world for 2 years, and I'll explain a little bit more of that as we get into it. What we're doing at Clean Seas as a solutions provider, we are working with, as I said, governments and municipalities that have the problem of plastic waste. And in many cases, they also have the problem of a lack of electricity. That's something that I've found historically over the last decade of working in the emerging markets. They don't have power. They do have waste streams that we can now take that valuable waste stream and turn it into something of value, whether that be clean fuels or clean electricity. That waste can be put to good use. It just doesn't have to sit there and be incinerated or thrown into a landfill. And the way we do that, the way we convert this plastic is by using a process called pyrolysis. If you think about it, pyrolysis is the method of, in the absence of oxygen under heat and pressure, converting an inorganic or an organic matter into a fuel, an oil called pyrolysis oil. Pyrolysis has been around forever. If you think about it, we know that the dinosaurs and plants formed oil, right? That's how we got crude oil underground, deep underground, lots of heat, lots of pressure, no oxygen, natural pyrolysis. Now we can recreate that on land, and in doing so, we can create clean commodities that can be sold at great value to our customers. So what we're doing now is we're taking plastic waste streams, pyrolyzing them, and working with a partner company called Global Green International, GGIE, which we've recently announced a partnership with. We are able to pyrolyze this waste stream and turn it into a clean burning diesel. The reason it's clean burning is when you convert a fossil fuel to make plastic, you're burning off the sulfur. When you go backwards and change that plastic back into a fuel, it's sulfur free. So it is then clean burning for our customers and can be sold at a high value. We are working with a multinational oil company through the relationship that we have with GGIE that will purchase all of the oil, the pyrolysis oil or the clean diesel that we can produce at any facility anywhere around the globe. So one of the projects that we're excited to be talking about is we are working with the folks in Massachusetts right now. We've recently announced that we're working with some folks on Cape Cod in order to handle their waste stream and turn it into clean fuel for the Cape. We're now in discussions with the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, and we're looking forward to having those permits granted in the near term. We've also announced a new relationship, a new opportunity in in Ecuador. El Salvador is coming. In Ecuador, where we've signed up a couple of cities to handle their municipal solid waste streams, and again, turning that into clean burning diesel fuel. We have LOIs signed, and we're expecting some additional ones in the coming weeks, and I'm happy to discuss that with you in more detail. So the company is now set up to look for and acquire additional clean tech companies that will benefit from our experience and also from the fact that we have a unique opportunity to synergistically combine these companies where it makes sense, leveraging our sales force and leveraging the opportunity for our investors. That's kind of the high level on what we're talking about today. I'd rather jump into questions from the audience to see if there's any interest in what we're doing and explain in more detail, if needed, about the technology or about the business model for each of the representative companies. So, Anna, if you want to throw this out into questions, please feel free. I'm here for you.
Yes, Dan, we do. All right. So the new UN report says we have 29 years to clean oceans, or the oceans are ruined. What is Clean Seas doing about this, and how does it project revenue as well?
So the way Clean Seas is going to help move the needle on this. Now, this is such a huge problem, Anna, that it's going to take lots of companies like Clean Seas make an impact, to do what it can do to solve that problem. What Clean Seas is doing is we're working with, for instance, the country of Ecuador, cleaning up their waste stream. Now they're doing municipal solid waste. That's what they're providing to us, right? Of that, about 20% of that is plastic. And right now they're throwing it into a landfill, and very often the rains that come, that landfill is sitting on a hillside and it flows into the ocean. That's one of the problems that we have all over the world. So what we're doing is we're going to process that waste stream, turn it into clean fuel, and then sell that through our relationships with this multinational. We are projecting that each of the facilities in Ecuador will spin off about $13 million in revenue annually. And we're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5 cities as we roll out this network.
So talk a little bit more about that, plus the 100 Bio. Does it have any revenue? And if so, when will that be disclosed?
Okay, so the Ecuador opportunity, we hope to have these plants, and we expect to have these plants up and operational in 2022. It takes about 8 months from the time we pull the trigger and have all the permits to build the system and get it commissioned. So we expect that we will be revenue generating in Ecuador in 2022. 100 Bio historically has delivered revenue to its investors. Because of COVID and because of the fact that we're transitioning the company from a manufacturing company into a more licensing model, they are pre-revenue right now. We will be out pitching the product in September, early September, to our manufacturers for a licensing opportunity for them.
Are you currently audited? And if so, who is the auditor? And are you going to uplist?
Well, yes. Okay, good questions. We are in the process of finishing up the audit. As you know, originally the company was Bison Digital, and we changed the name recently, Clean Vision Corporation, and retooled its business model. In order to uplist, of course, we're going to have the audit completed. We've been in that process. Our auditor is Frucci & Associates in Seattle, and I expect that to be done in the coming weeks, certainly by the end of the quarter, and at which point we will then uplist to QB.
Can you give us more details on your LOIs, including the financial plan of acquisition and some financials of the companies being acquired?
Well, the LOIs that we have right now, our LOI with GGIE, they are the equipment provider for Clean Seas. Okay, they are a global company. They've got installations, I believe, in 4 or 5 different countries. They've been around since the early 2000s. So the equipment is tried and tested. This is not an experiment. I think if anybody out there in the audience has heard of pyrolysis, they know that it has been mired with a little bit of snake oil salesmanship. It works with a handful of companies. We chose GGIE for their long-standing relationships globally and the fact that the plants have been in operation for 15 years. That's really important. We're not going to take a chance with our investors' money. What we will be doing is going out and project financing these opportunities wherever they might be globally, whether it's Massachusetts or Ecuador, or coming announcements, which I can't disclose in this conference, but I'd be happy to share with them with you as they come to contract, and they're press released, and they're very exciting what's coming out. So, go ahead.
Sorry. Talk a little bit about the issue of dilution. What's going on, and how long will we see dilution in the market?
Well, we have a Reg A that we've recently announced, right? We've become effective about a month ago. We're selling stock at 2 cents a share right now, and we expect that we will be raising the price shortly. I'm not sure when. I'm not prepared to go into that right now. Dilution is happening. Yes, it is happening. The company needs capital in order to move forward. So we have to dance that fine line between how much is enough, right? We don't want to over raise and over dilute, but we also have requirements that must be met and acquisition interest from several other companies that we're going to pursue. So we're trying to limit dilution as much as possible, but at the same time, maintain our business and grow our business, because we firmly believe that as we grow the business, Clean Vision Corporation and our subsidiaries are successful, that will drive the price of the stock.
Talk a little bit about your ownership profile, inside ownership, any cornerstone investors, public float.
Right now, we're pretty, we have some key folks within the company. That all has been disclosed in the Reg A, and I encourage the investors to go out and thoroughly read the Form 1A. We have about 60% of the company outstanding right now that we're selling into. It's all disclosed in the Form 1A. So I encourage you to go take a look at it. You can find it on, Yahoo Finance, wherever.
Are you currently capitalized enough to get you to revenue? And if not, how do you plan to raise funds?
We're going to raise a few extra $1 million in the process that will get us to revenue. Like I said, we're expecting revenue by the end of this year to early next. Clean Seas will probably be generating the revenue in Q2 or Q3 as we expect, and as we're able to commission these systems. We have a couple of other acquisition targets in mind that are generating revenue right now that will help the company with cash flow, and that we're pursuing aggressively.
And how are you making those acquisitions? With cash, stock, both? It's a
blend of equity and cash. Yeah, we're trying to use our currency and stock as much as we can to keep the cash burn down as low as possible.
And what is your profit margin?
On Clean Seas, it's pretty incredible. When we're selling fuels, we're making the fuels at, about half of what we're selling it for. If we're selling electricity, it's a different component. If you're selling electricity to a municipality because they're giving you the waste stream, you're doing so under a PPA, a power purchase agreement, typically a 20-year agreement to buy electricity at a fixed price with an escalation over the term of the deal. In those instances, the payback period for the equipment is typically 5, 6, 7 years, depending on the rate of electricity. If you're talking about selling fuels, that brings the ROI down to the 2.5 year period. So we're much more interested in setting these things up as the owner-operator, where we control the output streams or the offtake, and selling that as a clean burning fuel than providing electricity to a municipality under a PPA.
Do you feel that the government will see the benefit of Clean Seas and possibly offer the company some financial assistance or opportunities?
I think that's a key to what's going on right now. We're not building the business around expecting grants from the government. I want to be clear about that. We're building a business on hardcore, solid fundamentals. But because of this administration's interest in the clean economy, as well as the interest of the World Bank, the development banks around the world, they are all moving aggressively into a clean economy. As well as if you take a look at BlackRock, you take a look at Goldman, you take a look at the big banks, they are divesting themselves of fossil fuel portfolio and putting their money into clean energy, clean tech companies. So we expect to be beneficiaries of those sources of capital as we move this forward.
Do you see a chance for a major in the field to make an acquisition offer? And if so, who would your model best fit with?
Well, we are definitely looking at that. And we're also looking at the opportunity to spin these things off individually as they get successful. So it will run the gamut. We're looking at that. But to be honest with you, right now, the exit is downstream. It's something that's on a horizon and certainly on our radar. But right now, today, we're building a solid business. That's what our focus is on right now. Building that business so that when we do 2, 3, 4 years from now have the opportunity to exit to the benefit of our shareholders, we'll have that opportunity.
And last question, a twofold question. Can you give any sales forecasts for the next 24 months? And are you hiring?
And am I what?
Are you hiring?
Sales forecasts. Well, Ecuador is the big one for Clean Seas as well as Massachusetts. we've got 2 projects lined up with 2 cities, Naranjal and Milagro, which have been announced. Each of those are about $30 million project finance opportunities, and they will spin off cash in probably 2 or 3 years. Okay. 100 Bio will be generating cash, as I said, by the end of the year is most likely. That's what we expect. Into Q1 of next year. We don't have forecasts that we're willing to announce right now on those. Okay. Are we hiring? Yes. We are looking for folks in the clean energy, clean tech space, specifically around sales, because Clean Vision is going to manage the sales operations of Clean Seas, 100% owned, as well as help support 100 Bio in the international packaging industry.
Fantastic. Dan, thank you so much for this great presentation. We really appreciate your time and look forward to some future updates.
Great. Thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate it.
All right,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Stay with us as we transition to the next presenter. You're going to see a black screen, but we'll be right back.